I was making reservations last night for, airplanes and trains and buses and things. And I started to think about how I got into travel and what attracted me to it at first. And I came up with the idea that it was names, the names of places that I had never been before, that were kind of weird names, but yet still names that would attract you to the place. So in this video, I'm going to talk about some of those names and why I think, and some other names also, not just place names, but other names also that I think are mysterious or places that shout, "Come and visit me." So stick around. The first name that got me started really thinking about different places around the world was the very first place I took a job overseas. And the name of that place was Kota Kinabalu. Now, when I first heard it, I thought it was someplace in Africa because it had that sort of Africa sounding ending, Balu or something like that. You would think it would be in Africa or India. But no, it was in Malaysia. Now, I wasn't exactly sure where it was when I first heard it. But as soon as I heard it, I wanted that job. It didn't matter what the job was. I wanted to go there. And I thought if I could get paid for going there, so much the better. So that's what got me started. Malaysia has a lot of names that are unusual. Kota Kinabalu is just one of them. It's probably not even the most unusual. Another one from Malaysia is Batu Pahat. Kota Kinabalu, by the way, means city of Kinabalu. Kinabalu, of course, being the tallest mountain peak in Southeast Asia, or at least in Malaysia. Batu Pahat means, I'm not sure what it means. Pahat is a mystery to me. Batu means rock. Sometimes it means mile, depending on how it's used. We are breaking new ground with camera angles on this trip. Another name that caught my eye, or my ear, I guess, is Quintana Roo. Now, for the longest time, for some reason, I thought it was in Australia. I know it's some kind of clothing line or some kind of sport equipment line, but it's not in Australia. And it's not a city. It's like a county or a state in Mexico. Now I hear it's in fact, it's the main place you got to go if you're going to Cancun. Never been there either. But if you're going there, you fly into the Quintana Roo area. I don't really have a great desire to go there. I just like the name. Okay, I have reached the Forest City trailhead for the Lackawanna River Heritage Trail now. I wasn't planning on coming here today. Yesterday I did a lot of climbing and my legs are still quite fatigued. But when you get on the bike on a day like this, it's hard to just ride a little bit and then turn around and go back home. So it's already 23 degrees according to the Garmin. It's supposed to get up to about 31 degrees. And that's going to be really, really too hot to ride any distance. So I thought if I'm going to get any kind of ride in, I'm going to get it in this morning. Now let's carry on with our names. I made a list. The next one on my list of city names anyway is Darjeeling. Now most of you know that Darjeeling is a town famous for its tea. I first was made aware of Darjeeling through the tea. But when I saw that one of my favorite Bollywood movies was filmed there, I decided to figure out where it was and how to go there. Darjeeling is in India, hence the Bollywood movie. but it's also in the mountains of the Himalayas. So if you go to Darjeeling, you have to take a train, those little miniature trains that goes up, winds up through the mountains. It has a lot of switchbacks. You can look it up on YouTube and see what the Darjeeling, they call it the mini train or miniature train. I forget what it's called, but it's a passenger train, and it goes up to the city of Darjeeling. The favorite movie of mine that was filmed there is called Mein Hu Na, starring Shah Rukh Khan. And I think it was the first Bollywood movie that I really became interested in. But after that, I started watching a lot more. So Darjeeling is on my list. Another one, which is just an unusual British name that I heard in another cycling video, is Finchdean. I don't know where Finchdean is, but it's just one of those British names that you hear every now and then, like in an old movie or in the news or something like that, and you think, what a weird name. Then we have Great Snoring, another British names. And then we have a couple more British names, Pucklechurch, Plumpton, and this one is my favorite, Blabberhouse, or I'm sorry, Blubberhouse. I don't know what you would call someone from Blubberhouse, a Blubberhousian, but anyway, those are some British nicknames that catch my ear every now and then. But when it comes to making up names, fictional names, it's hard to do. Like, if you ever sat down to write a story when you were in high school or something, and your English assignment was to, write a short story, those kinds of assignments, and you had to come up with names for your characters, there's no one better to make up names than Charles Dickens. Just making sure we're recording. Dickens comes up with some really good names. Probably the one that you're most familiar with, the two of them anyway, are Ebenezer Scrooge and Mr. Fezziwig. Those are characters from The Christmas Carol. But he has some other killers. Cornelia Blimble. He always had a knack of putting together the odd consonants, like Blimble. Another one is Paul Sweetlepipe. That's a character in Martin Chuzzlewit, and itself an unusual name. Then we have Paul, oh, that's the same one. Luke Honey Thunder. Luke Honey Thunder. Imagine if he was married. Mr. and Mrs. Honey Thunder. Anyway, that's from Edwin Drood, another title of a eponymous title for a book with an unusual name. And then from David Copperfield, we have Aunt Betty Trotwood. Now, I don't know whether Aunt is part of her name or whether it's a title because she's related to somebody in the book. I have not read David Copperfield, but it would be even funnier if her full name was actually Aunt Betsy Trotwood. And then probably my favorite, from Nicholas Nickleby, here it is. Wackford Squeers Jr. Not just Wackford Squeers, but Wackford Squeers Jr. Anyway, that's my thing on names with Charles Dickens. I have two more names. I pride myself in being something of a nicknaming expert. Well, I think I made a video about how I assign nicknames to people I know, swimmers I used to coach, or members of my family previously. And you can look that up. But one of my favorite things to call someone is Gorilla Butt, Horse Face, and Chuckle Pants. Now these, of course, have to be used judiciously. You can't just throw them out in public. Like if you call somebody Gorilla Butt in public, you're probably going to get strange looks. Horse Face is, of course, not very nice. It's kind of rude. And Chuckle Pants would be, I think Chuckle Pants is good if it's used appropriately. Anyway, that's my take on names. That's how I got started with travel. I just have a lot of place names that say come and visit. And I'm going to be doing that very shortly. Bonus material. I forgot to mention that there was a big change in my bicycle, and that is I have taken the kickstand off the bike. A lot of people would make fun of me because I would ride around with a kickstand. Now that's not the reason I took it off. The reason I took it off is because it was loose, and if it either take it off or have it fall off. Now, the kickstand is in such a position that if it did fall off, probably I would be in big trouble. So I took it off. You say, well, Bill, why didn't you just tighten it? Well, if you've ever installed a kickstand or tried to remove a kickstand, you know that you need unusual tools to do it. So it's far easier to loosen the bolt and remove the contraption itself than it was to try to find a wrench that I could tighten it properly with so that it wouldn't fall off. So the kickstand is now gone. And of course, with the loss of that weight, I'm now zooming around town at an even higher average speed. Hey folks, thanks for watching. A recent study by J.D. Power and Associates found that 98% of those who subscribe to this channel have all of their wildest dreams come true. Think about it. Be seeing you.